Hello and welcome to episode 86 of the Give Me a Crown Knitting, Spinning and Bits and Pieces podcast. My name's Nina, also known as Give Me a Crown across the internet, and if you've tuned in before, my big apologies for the huge gap in between episodes. Life has been a bit chaotic, nothing bad. I haven't met the farmer of my dreams yet, but I just haven't had a lot of knitting time, so my projects haven't really been making much progress. This will be the last time that I record before the new year, but hopefully in the new year I will be able to get back into a more regular podcasting schedule. In the Give Me a Crown Ravelry group, we have a memories knit along at the moment, and it's meant to be ending at the end of November, but because I'm not going to be able to record until January, I'm going to extend the deadline. I don't like doing that, but I think it's going to be fair for all that the drawing actually gets done close to the finishing date. So thank you to everyone who has been entering. There are a lot of gorgeous memories related projects in the thread so far, so if you are still working on anything that contains memories, then pop by the Ravelry group. I have one finished object to share with you, and I've got a couple of works in progress and a few other bits and pieces, so on with the show. My finished object is a pair of socks. These are some shorty socks that are based on the Rose City Rollers pattern by Mara Catherine Briner, and I've knit them in sock yarn from Dragon Horde Yarn. It's in the Dragon Scales base, which I think might be an old base because I got this yarn a very long time ago, and it's in her Molly Weasley colourway, so I'm not sure if she's dyeing that anymore. As I said, I've had this yarn for a long time, but I was really keen to get a quick project done, even though it took me a very long time, just because of everything that's going on. So these are going to be great for summer socks, and I definitely want to knit some more shorties, because they're a lot of fun and it's fun to be able to get a pair of socks done out of such a small amount of yarn. For these socks I used, oh no, it's starting to rain. I hope that you can't hear that yet. I was trying to get this done before the storm started. I used my driftwood lacquer needles. Lacquer. You know what I mean. This was the first time that I used these needles. This was a circular needle, 80 centimeters or 32 inches in the 2.25 millimeter size, and I like them. They're very nice to knit with, but they don't go as fast as my high sharp metal needles. So I'll use them from time to time, but they're not going to become my go-to. And I don't expect I'll be buying other needles of theirs because I've got other wooden needles and I like them, but unless I get a gap in my knitting needle selection, then I don't think I'd be needing them. I love my metal needles, so they were good, but not necessarily for me. So those are my socks, and the rain's getting heavier. I will stop if it gets too bad. And I think it's going to get too bad. Okay, I'll take a pause for a moment. I think the rain's eased off now, so I'm back. It's wonderful to be having some rain because we've had a very, very, very dry winter. And I'm not complaining about the rain whatsoever, but it does make for a slightly noisy recording environment. So my works in progress, I am still working on the Down the Road and Back Again shawl, and now it's getting very windy out there, so I'm very sorry, but if I don't record now, it's just not going to happen. So Down the Road and Back Again shawl, and this is by Megan Williams, and it's an interesting construction. I am at the back again section now, so down the road is the first part, then you do a little turn and then you go back again. I'm using Revive Designs yarn from New Zealand. It's an 80/20 merino nylon blend, and it's a really soothing project. I know the top part now off by heart and know what I'm meant to be doing on the rest of the row, so it's something that I can do while I'm watching TV or whatever. So I enjoy it, but I'm just not getting a lot of time, so I might get one or two rows done at a time, and then I have to do something else. So I'm looking forward to getting this done. I think it's going to be beautiful, and I love the colour combination. My next work in progress is my scrap yarn blanket, and it's got a few squares in it, but I'm still nowhere near finished. So even though I had the goal of finishing it this year, I'll get it done by the end of next year. This first square was a Fibre Webs mini that I purchased in Canberra earlier in the year. And then I have, this is 2 different yarn ends from a Knit Picks for Leechy yarn. So I had 2 little scraps left over from some socks that I knit recently, and it's a stripy yarn, so I think I must have done 2 rows off each yarn end, and it created a fun little mini stripe effect. This yellow one is a Knit Pick Stroll, which was also used in the socks that the stripy yarn was for. This multicoloured one is another one from Fibre Webs. This white speckly one is one from Finch Yarns. The purple square is by Atelier Yarn. This blue speckle one is from Fibre Webs again. I bought a mini pack, so I've been putting those into here. This gorgeous brown one, I love my browns, is an Atelier Yarn. This purple one is Fibre Webs again. This green speckly one is by Black Stump Studio, and it's a mini that a friend sent to me. And then this last one is the same as my shorty socks, so this is the Dragon Horde yarn Molly Weasley colourway. So it's growing, but not yet finished, and I can't even remember how many squares I wanted to get into it. So it will be worked on next year, and yep, it'll happen one day. I also have a jumper on the way. I sort of finished it. I was knitting it top down. It's split underneath the arms, and I'm knitting it with some Miss Click Clack yarn, and I think that the needles that I need for it are on my Down the Road and Back Again shawl. I don't remember what my plans were for it because I was making up the pattern as I went, and I'm not sure where I put my notes for it, so I had a look at it the other day and just put it back into the project bag, and I'll have to deal with that. Once I finish my Down the Road and Back Again shawl, I'm pretty sure that I must have the notes somewhere, but I probably saved them on my iPad or something somewhere, because I'm sure I must have been taking notes rather than just making it up as I went along. So yep, so that will be happening again, and then I've also got plans for a jumper and another jumper and a few other things. So I will be, in January, I plan to get knitting a lot more projects. My next project, though, is going to be from this gorgeous yarn. This is some Fru Valborg yarn. This is a gift from a friend of mine, and she picked it up at the Stephen and Penelope store in Amsterdam, and it's gorgeous. So Fru Valborg is a dye from Sweden, and this is an 80% merino superwash and 20% nylon, and it's in the Suspicious Minds colourway. So I've got some travelling coming up, and I really want to knit this into a cowl, but I think I'm going to just have to make it into some socks, just to make it easy on myself for my travel knitting. But I'm going to be winding it up into a cake in the next few days, and then I'm going to knit with it. So I will no doubt be sharing some photos of that on Instagram once I figure out what I'm going to knit with it. I also thought that I would share some socks that my mum knit for me. So she's been doing her Christmas knitting and gift knitting and all that kind of stuff. So she made me these socks. I don't know quite where she found these kitty cats from, but I think they're amazing. And there are these accordion type leg parts so that I can squish them down at my ankles or pull them up if I want to. And on the feet, there are cat's paws. So I think they're absolutely gorgeous. And I'm looking forward to wearing those. At the moment, the temperatures have gotten warmer out here, so not too much need for very thick woolly socks, but I think they're gorgeous. And she does the stretchy thing for the ankle so that it hugs your ankle, and very happy to have another pair of mum-made socks. So it is going to be a very short episode. I'm sure that the rain's going to come back again any moment, and there could be thunder and lightning and all that fun jazz, so I will be wrapping up. I will be on the socials sporadically over the next month and a half or so before I podcast again, but if I don't see you online before then I hope that you have a wonderful holiday sort of season and festive time and a happy new year. Thank you very much for tuning into my podcast this year. I really appreciate all the comments and chatter that eventuates from me blathering on about what I've been making, and it's always fun to see what you guys are making. So I really appreciate the support, and also everyone who has been popping by my Etsy shop and buying project bags and various things. I will be putting my Etsy shop kind of on holiday very soon. I will leave up. I've got some digital download yarn tags in there, but I will take anything that ships off for the time being so that I get a good break for December, and then I'll be back in the swing of things with sewing project bags in the new year. So I'll wrap it up, but thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.